Hello, hello, check 1111. Check 1 2. Let me turn on this. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is 8:14 EU time, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US. I'm sorry about the delay. But I want to get right into it. Before I jump into what is happening with the international news, which is always interesting. Um, This is so funny, man. I mean, I don't know if it's funny to cry over or what the deal is. Hold on, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. I don't know whether to cry or laugh or what the deal because the news is all over the place. But it's something I just wanted to discuss, and it's a it's a dynamic that has been out there. It's people have talked about it before. I'm sure people have written about this in the past in history and regarding activism and things like this. And you know, I want to big up all the activists out there that find something to do in times like this that can make a difference to somebody else, make a difference to your community, make a difference. And a lot of times we overlook some of the small differences we might be able to make. Even no matter who you are, you can make a difference. And I think if you really are up to something, you will try to find ways, unique ways to make a positive difference where you are when you can. And but one of the things I noticed, it came up in some of the debate regarding, I'm going to be, we have been, and we will continue to uh, talk to people and see how they feel about what's going on with Trump and talk to people where we are. I'm located in the EU. I'm located in Copenhagen, Denmark, but there's people located all over the place. And since this affects everybody, it's very unique. It gives us the opportunity to look into a few things. Now, I noticed there's some dynamics that came up with the random people around Copenhagen, right, or in Denmark, right, and what they think about Trump. This video. Now, there's some debate going on regarding Greenlandic people, right, the indigenous people of Greenland, and then in that debate also comes up the U.S. Virgin Islands, obviously, because that also is another dynamic between the U.S. and Denmark, right? A lot of people don't know this, but there's colonial history between the U.S. Virgin Islands and obviously Greenland, right? Now, now, and people follow that history. I encourage people to follow it and take a look at it, but take a fair look at it. I'm aware of, I know activists that work, that are have been communicating regularly about the Greenland. I mean, this debate has been ongoing in the Danish parliament for some while. And yeah, yeah. Hey, Donnie. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I am kind of hard to catch up with. It's just been busy, brother. But I noticed one dynamic, and I know people personally that are activists for the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is why I always point to them for information about the colonial history and to get direction. Like sometimes when I have questions, I go to people that are experts on the U.S. Virgin Islands history or Caribbean history. For example, I don't just go to a book or go to the internet when I actually have huge human resources and a huge network, but a pointed network, a network that has real solid facts on history, and that we all have to be interested in. And this way, the things that you put out there, they're fair, they're diplomatic, but they're also effective. And also, I'm aware of folks that are Greenlandic activists. This has been an ongoing um, debate in the Danish parliament for a decade, over a decade now, and it's been a very important one. By the way, there's been other activists that have come and have talked about some of that history. They've done some. There was the Queen Mary statue that was made in Copenhagen to kind of honor that history. Um, they didn't get the final economic uh, result that they wanted to get to make a permanent statue, but they did have a temporary one, and the temporary one was quite impressive. But that was part of the conversation again. Um, but in any case, then you have what's going on. That's one group of effect. Those are two groups of people that come up in a conversation. But then on the political scale, right? You have what's current, what's what a big situation that people are facing is this situation with Palestine and Israel, right? And when we look at that, when we look at this, um, it seems to be some political dynamics that come up. For example, the presidential election, U.S. presidential election was 2024, November 7th, right? And and it's interesting. One of the things that came up was there's a split, and it's not. I don't think it's so much a split about a split about not caring. I think it's a split that's really a political divide here. It's not about do people care? Because if you ask the average Palestinian, do they care about what's going on with Trump and Mexicans and Venezuelans and immigrants being kicked out, even Palestinians, American Palestinians being threatened by this, Trump trying to overturn part of the 14th Amendment, the birthright thing, and then other aspects of immigration he's trying to overturn or go around. Um, but when you look at some of the activists, when it comes to the issue of Israel and Palestine, you will find obviously a lot of people support Palestine, and I also support the two-state solution myself. That's what I support, but that doesn't mean I support all the methods now. Um, but having said that, Kamala Harris supported the two-state solution, but a lot of people were upset at Biden and Kamala, and they took that anger out on Kamala Harris also during the election, saying that she should have done more for Palestinians. But now we see. I hope everybody can take a good look at this. Now we see that Trump is the president. He's taking direct aim at these folks in another way, and he's promising even deeper problematic behavior regarding Palestine, and that is just completely annexing it, annexing Palestine, just taking over Palestine, making Gaza, for to be precise, making hotels and doing all of this stuff. And you can see now people that voted for Kamala Harris, they knew Trump would take it even further. People, they knew that Trump would take it even further. It was no guess to me that Trump said before he wanted Gaza. His son did, at least. That was out. That was news. People talked about that. People said that Trump is going to try to kick out immigrants from the United States, including Palestinian immigrants. And then still there was a divide. There were some people that said, Kamala Harris said, don't kick them out. Kamala Harris said, don't kick out the immigrants, pretty much. Only the ones that come, of course, illegal immigrants, everyone is going to have a method of dealing with them. But to try to roll back people that are citizens and try to roll back birthright citizenship, that's another type of attack on these immigrants. That affects a lot more people than had it than yeah. Well, some of us knew they would try to do that, and a lot of people that voted for Trump, unfortunately, didn't know and are getting kicked out of the country. And that's what I'm saying about the political divide. So when we come going back to this video about random Danish people, don't be so upset when the message doesn't exactly point back to what you want it to point to. leave some room, because um, there is some dynamics that are just inherent to this debate. And we got to keep in mind that just because a conversation doesn't point back to your particular issue doesn't mean there's not room for your particular issue. So I got a lot of people that had questions like, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? Hey, because I know what we wanted out of this video. And what we wanted was we wanted some people over here to talk about life here that respect the Nordic system, right? The Nordic model, right? That grew up on it, that live on it, that respect it. And we wanted to know, what do they think about Trump? And we're going to continue to do that. But now that I've said that, let's get into the international news, which is bizarre. Which is bizarre. I mean, what else can you say? I don't know what else to say about it. It's out there.
CBS News 24.
And Trump apparently has, well, I'll let it go.
After reporters asked why he was unhappy to sign it if Iran previously threatened to assassinate him. Listen.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it.
First of all, everyone knows that the United States military can do damage on a lot of places, but nobody can walk alone. And here's the thing. Also, nobody's listening to Trump's words anymore, because Trump says stuff all the time and he rolls it back. He says stuff all the time and doesn't follow into it. Case in point, the tariffs. Stop playing games with stuff with big boy toys. Stop playing games with big boy toys like that hurt people and harm people. Be more subtle, be more diplomatic. That's what people expect out of a president, not a moron. And so Iran, somehow Trump talks himself into possibly being assassinated by Iran. Yeah. We know there's loads of people Iran has made threats against, loads of American citizens, loads of American diplomats. It's not special to Trump. And I'm not defending it at all, but what I'm saying is that it's almost like Trump wants this kind of talk, but where is it really going to lead? Anywhere? What could it? That's the thing that every other American's got to think. Trump talked about tariffs. Where did it lead? So now he's talking about Iran. Where's that going to lead? Where's that going to lead? We already know whatever it leads to is going to be a debacle. It's going to be a debacle. And Trump's ability to think like a diplomat, to think like a head of government, to utilize his strategists, military strategists, generals, and things like that have more experience than him and more knowledge than him on these topics, to just see a man not use his resources, human resources, properly. It's just an embarrassment to everybody. Nothing that Trump is saying is tactical. Nothing is applying pressure to anybody. The only thing that's an aspect of him that's applying pressure is the fact that you're dealing with a moron, and it's hard to deal with a moron.
But they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran.
So let's go to CBS News Pentagon reporter Ellie Watson. The word obliterated is a big word for a president to use. What does he mean?
That's like a funny joke right there. The word obliterated is a big word for a president to use. Oh, really? Is it a big word for a president to use? This is hilarious, man.
A state that did it. That would include Iran.
So let's go to CBS News Pentagon reporter Ellie Watson. The word obliterated is a big word for a president to use. What does he mean?
Well, Reed, I'll get to what he said last night, but I do want to share something that we just learned, and it's related, and that's that former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper has had his security detail, which was provided by the Defense Department, removed.
Now, this is the flip side of it. Trump's going to go right out there on national TV, talk about Iran, and then at the same time, he's removing people's security clearance, people that lives are actually in danger, that have actually followed up with their government's request to do whatever work they're doing to combat Iran. This man pulls the very people's security clearance. Not protection details from them. I mean, imagine if somebody removed Trump's protection detail. You know, he's going to go out there and say these things, and then what if the next president just removes Trump's security detail? You know, what if just somehow he makes some executive order, or somehow Congress makes some order like that? I mean, of course, Trump's not worried about it because he's a billionaire, right? And he's got billionaire friends, so he got his own security detail anyway. They can apparently bully federal employees, right? So, this is outrageous.
We've heard that from a U.S. official and a Defense Department official. Esper, like President Trump, has faced threats from Iran because of the 2020 killing of Qasem Soleimani, the former commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force. This removal of security from Esper follows other officials who have had their security revoked, like former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Now, as for what President Trump said last night about obliteration, he said very loudly and with language what the Biden administration actually said quietly last fall, which is that Iran has been warned that if it tries to attempt an attack on President Trump, it would be considered an act of war. Now, the Pentagon does have plans it could pull from that would significantly harm Iran, including going after its nuclear facilities. As far as instructions, only the commander-in-chief can instruct the military what to do. So any instructions left by a previous commander-in-chief, the military couldn't act on.
All right, so let's go back to what you mentioned regarding Esper. What does this say about the president's relationship or suspicions there?
So in other words, this is not, Trump's going out there talking about stuff that's not really even news, just putting it back into focus right at a time where Palestine is trying to find some peace. Israel and Palestine are trying to find some peace, right? They even go on to talk about, now let me flip out of here. They talk about on Joy Reid, I saw that they were talking actually about this same issue and Trump, but they added some other info in there about Netanyahu. Here, let's see.
Most people have no clue that in 2024,
on,
the best way.
MSNBC, right? Just
are days and nights in this business when you have to leave open the possibility that you can still be surprised. I might even say stunned. I think this is one of those days. Donald Trump making news in the biggest possible way. I'm going to read you the quotes that I think are stunning to just about everyone who heard them today after a day of calling for the people of Gaza, who he numbered at 1.8 million, to be relocated out of the Gaza Strip. Today, Donald Trump said the following about the Palestinian people. They can instead occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will.
First of all, what Palestinian advised Trump on this? What Palestinian did the Trump administration go and talk to negotiate something like this, to even ask them, like, what do you think about this idea? Not that I'm for it. I'm against the idea. Totally against the idea. And it's very simple, because there's already a two-state idea that's been out there that people have been backing up for decades now. When is it going to happen? And on top of that, what type of real peace initiatives are going to take place for Palestinians and Israelis. You know, the non-combatants. The non-combatants. What kind of peace? You know, there has to be some sort of international community response over this, and I'm not just talking about this, but right now, this because you could see Trump is meddling in affairs, really, at this point. You know, of course, and you know, this just undermines so many things that people have been saying. Underlines it underlines. I'm sorry. It points to that, like some of the things that people have been saying the entire time about this dynamic. Um, you know, it's just not good enough. And now you have an American president, while you had Biden, who was for the two-state solution and the wanted a cease in military activities and attacks on both sides, right? Fighting from both sides. Uh, Now you got Trump, who's like, let's obliterate them all and take Gaza. So seems to me, oh, right. Well, hold on. There's also this reaction from Netanyahu. Listen to what they say.
Take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do it, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site, and get rid of the destroyed buildings. When he was pressed on whether or not he would be willing to use the military to accomplish the U.S. takeover of the Gaza Strip, he doubled down on that, said, we will do what's necessary. We'll do what's necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over the peace and we're going to develop it. He referred to the Gaza Strip as the Riviera of the Middle East. He said that world people will live in Gaza, including Palestinians and anyone else, I suppose, that wants to live in this new real estate development he proposed today. This was stunning. And this
A real estate development. Like what this is the silliest. Oh my goodness. I mean, what is going on here? What is going on here? You know, the UN is gonna have to get involved because, well, I'm not saying that they need to get involved with, you know, Trump is Americans' problems. You know, they voted for him. Well, even though there's new findings that say that Kamala Harris actually won the election due to voter tampering, right? And voter suppression in the tens of millions, right? Uh, yeah, this is just ridiculous. But regarding Israel and Palestine, the international community must step up, in my opinion. And I'm saying that because, you know, Trump, his actions could easily be considered like acts of war by some people. And, you know, well, let me let this play. This is really, really sad.
came in a press conference with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his first trip to the United States since he was labeled a war criminal by the International Criminal Court with arrest warrants issued. This is one of the few countries where Prime Minister Netanyahu can travel because the United States does not recognize the authority of the International Criminal Court, which rendered a judgment that genocide and apartheid had taken place inside of Israel, disregarding the war in Gaza. So this was their joint press conference following a bilateral meeting. A stunner by any definition of the word. I'm joined now by Vaughn Hilliard, White House correspondent for NBC News, and Alex Wagner, host of Alex Wagner Tonight, and also Trump World.
Trump land.
Trump land.
It's
I mean,
world
Trump
now.
land.
It's world.
I mean,
it's
a world.
Yeah.
Vaughn, I do want to go to you first because this is a stunner. I'm just assuming that there is a lot of reaction right now to what we just heard. Official reaction, please share.
I mean, actually, I've pinged a few people and there's just silence.
Hold on. I think she said something about the international court.
Disregarding the war in Gaza. So this was their joint press conference following a bilateral meeting. A stunner a stunner by any definition of the word. I'm joined now by Vaughn Hilliard, White House correspondent for NBC. The United States does not recognize the authority of the International Criminal Court, which rendered a judgment that genocide and apartheid had taken place inside of Israel.
Okay, the International Court rendered a judgment, right? That's okay.
Disregarding the war in Gaza. So this was their joint press conference following a bilateral meeting. A stunner by any definition of the word. I'm joined now by Vaughn Hilliard, White House correspondent for NBC News, and Alex Wagner, host of Alex Wagner Tonight, and also Trump World.
Trump Land.
Trump Land.
It's
Trump
now.
Land.
It's world.
I mean,
it's
a world.
Yeah.
Vaughn, I do want to go to you first because this is a stunner. I'm just assuming that there is a lot of reaction right now to what we just heard. Official reaction, please, Jared.
I mean, actually, I've pinged a few people and there's just silence. I mean, let's be very clear. Outside of Jared Kushner making a seemingly passing remark back in March of Gaza having beautiful waterfront property, we have not heard the words of candidate Donald Trump or President Trump suggest the takeover of a land where millions of people call home, the moving them out and the taking over and the ownership of the United States. And I think that what this represents, I think, cannot be overstated here. Back in the first Trump administration, there was some semblance of a governing structure in the Trump administration. In 2020, with the help of Jared Kushner, they did put forward what they called the two-state solution proposal, right? There was going to be a two states, and yet there was going to have Israeli security forces overseeing the Palestinian state. Palestinian President Abbas completely rejected it. Okay, but at least it was some sort of a plan or something that was put forward. This is not anything of a plan. This is a complete American imperialism at its roots, at its core. Donald Trump suggesting that this land in the Middle East would be better occupied and overseen by America. I just don't think we can really begin to even comprehend what we're hearing 2 weeks in from this administration in terms of the role that the United States is supposed to play. And even Bibi Netanyahu stood next to him and said, I think that the American president sees maybe a different plan than what I do. But
okay, so Netanyahu said that he doesn't agree, but see, there's an opportunity, if you ask me, for peace in this situation, but that's between Israelis and their neighbors, what opportunities they see for peace right now. Because in my mind, like, if you don't want the United States to be part of that, or any other superpower, Russia, China, if you were in the Middle East and you didn't want Russia, China, and the United States or the EU controlling the Middle East, to me, it would seem like right now would be a good time for Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, different countries to, come to some real peace understandings. But I think without Israel on the table, you won't get that. But if I was Netanyahu, he should take this, it's my advice, take this as a sign of you may want to do that, because Trump is willing to throw everyone's lives into war.
it's just remarkable, and I don't think this silence is surprising.
He seemed stunned.
For whatever reason he does it for, who knows? But it's for crazy reasons, obviously, right? But yeah.
As well, I will say that Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, definitely also seemed a bit stunned and taken aback and attempted to respond to it. Donald Trump also said that he has taken no position on Israeli sovereignty in the West Bank. That is also a dramatic change in position from the United States position. He also acknowledged that Gaza has been crushed. He said it's been leveled. It's destroyed. It's a demolition site. Gaza taken aback and attempted.
It's just remarkable, and I don't think this silence is surprising.
He seemed stunned as well. I will say that Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, definitely also seemed a bit stunned and taken aback and attempted to respond to it. Donald Trump also said that he has taken no position on Israeli sovereignty in the West Bank. That is also a dramatic change in position from the United States position.
Yeah, what the hell? he hasn't taken any position. The United States has taken a position already, man. This guy is just dumb.
He also acknowledged that Gaza has been crushed. He said it's been leveled. It's destroyed. It's a demolition site. The sort of stiffness of Bibi Netanyahu as he was describing the destruction of Gaza, that Bibi Netanyahu's, Prime Minister Netanyahu's own military cause, he seemed to acknowledge that complete destruction. But his answer all day today has been permanent displacement, or at least temporary until they're allowed to move back with the world people of the Palestinian people in Gaza. This is actually stunning.
And to what extent is the U.S. military involved?
I think he said.
So they want he's suggesting Palestinians should leave Palestine until the place is rebuilt.
This was a man that ran for president of the United States back in January. He said the U.S. shouldn't be involved in the Middle East.
Why can't the Palestinians be in on rebuilding their own homes in the first place? Like, what is that about? This is like a total crime, complete and utter crime. Like, and it's definitely, I think the international, the UN has to get involved, even if it leads to nowhere, because obviously Trump will have the veto power, right? And exactly. And so will China, so will Russia, the same players involved. When one is in trouble, they'll veto it. And then when that's how it works. And that's why we've been seeing these kind of activities for a long time. But
correct. Alice, let me bring you in here, because we know that the trauma induced by the Iraq War and the U.S. presence in the Middle East, on top of 20 years in Afghanistan, has been significant. And it was also a significant reason that Barack Obama was a popular politician who could
Well, that's the gist of it. So let me come out of here. Now, there was one other. Let me see here. Boom. Right. There. Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on for a second. Let me play this way. This is ridiculous. Voter regret.
Check this out. All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
Check
all
this
I can
out.
say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
Now that dude.
Check
all
this
I can
out.
say, I was a
totally
dumbass,
regrets.
voted for Trump
He totally regrets.
only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be.
He didn't even want to vote. But when he did vote, he felt pressured to vote. People made him say, "You're not going to have any say." And so he voted, and he voted for Trump. And now he's like, that was the worst decision he ever made.
Be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
Check
all
this
I can
out.
say,
Now, hold on.
Don't trust anyone.
Now, let me go back here. There's one other one that's actually really, really, it's very, very interesting. It's Hispanics, Venezuelans, Mexicans, different groups that voted for Trump. Listen to this. This is inside of the, I believe this is the House of Representatives.
daily goddamn basis.
They can't
I've
stand
been
on this
sitting
bill.
there my whole goddamn time listening to y'all motherfuckers. It pisses me off.
All these
I love
cowards.
you, but this fucking hurts. Vote for Trump. The shit that happens on this
All
goddamn
these
floor
cowards.
hurts. I can't go hang out with my. I can't drive. My brother, my cousin.
Biden supported these people.
Okay.
Now, see, this is what I was pointing out. Biden and Harris was supporting this group, right, of affected people, obviously, immigrants, first generation, right, second generation, this kind of thing, and immigrants, right. Now, people that didn't like Kamala Harris or Biden, here's the thing, they were at least acknowledging these people. So what's happening now is that this man, even himself, he voted for Trump. And now, I believe he voted for Trump, I'm pretty sure. And now it's voter regret, right? But this guy is one of the persons that has been out there in the public, you see? So he's a state rep. Armando, what's his last name? Oh, okay, I can't see the whole name here. But in any case, so in that political dynamic, if you're against Biden and Harris because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay, and you won't support them, but these are the people that you're affecting when you take that stance. You see, they also have a dynamic going on in politics, right? So they can't have it the same way. If they vote on that issue, then they will be voting against themselves. That's how the politic is set up. But let's listen more.
I
All
can't
these
take them
cowards.
anywhere, bro.
But why would
I
you
can't go to a border. I can't go to a baptism because my community is being attacked. Y'all don't understand the shit that y'all do hurts our community. It hurts us personally, bro. It hurts us.
Just let us debate it.
It hurts us to our fucking core. And y'all don't understand that. Y'all don't live in our fucking skin. Y'all don't, man. And that's what pisses me off. I sit there. I've been a good fucking soldier to him.
That's right.
To my own fucking detriment.
That's right.
To my own detriment. And to cut off debate when all of our members are trying to have a debate, a civil debate. Nobody's gotten crazy. We're just trying to have a debate. Let the chips fall where they may. We know where the bill's going.
Yeah, we know.
Let us debate what we need to debate. Let us vote on a daily goddamn basis.
They can't
I've
stand
been
on this
sitting
bill.
there my whole goddamn time listening to y'all motherfuckers. It pisses me off.
All these
I love
cowards.
you, but this fucking hurt.
Oh, wait a second. He's not a Republican. I'm sorry. He's not a Republican. He's a Democrat, but he wants to have the debate. Okay, I see what it is now. But
Vote for Trump.
The shit that happens on this
All these
goddamn floor
cowards.
hurts. I can't go hang out with my. I can't drive. My brother, my cousin.
Biden supported these people.
Okay,
Did.
I
All
can't
these
take them
cowards.
anywhere, bro.
But why would
I
you
can't go
vote
to.
yeah, so these folks are affected by that vote, obviously. And it's unfortunate. And Armando didn't, by the way. He's a Democrat, so he didn't support Trump. But they want to have the debate on the floor just to, as he says, get out some steam. And I understand that totally. But but overall, we still have this dynamic. So on one hand, Trump is hurting, now Trump is basically out there hurting everybody. That's what we got out of the 2024 presidential election. We got this dynamic going on where there's all kinds of confusion. Trump is attacking allies, and he's attacking people that, other Americans, essentially. That's the core of what he's been doing, attacking Americans and attacking his allies. So yeah, that's the dynamic, and it's really sad, but that's what it is. In any case, there's been some fighting back, and so that's the good news. And so there's been some rallies, and let me see here. There was a rally outside of the Treasury Department, right? And let me see here. What is that? Rally Treasury. Isn't it this one? Right. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out today. Try not to block the street, please, if you can. I'm Rana Epting. I'm with Move On. And on behalf of our millions of members that are incredibly upset about Elon messing around with this building back here, I want to thank you for joining us. But I've got some questions. Did Elon Musk win any electoral college votes this last November? That's right. Did Elon Musk have the authority to operate a secret government that has access to our social security numbers and our Medicaid checks? No! That's right. So let me ask, is what is happening a takeover by an unelected billionaire? No one elected Elon Musk. But with President Trump's blessing, he has given himself tremendous power with no oversight and no accountability. Musk has shown us he wants to slash Meals on Wheels, shutter preschools, end school lunches for kids in need, while he's steering our government to help himself and his companies. And it's just one piece of the Trump-Musk plan to take money away from us, the people, and replace it with tax cuts for billionaires. Did you vote for that? It's outrageous. It must end. That's why we're here today. It's why on Sunday night, over 50,000 people joined us on a live stream to take action and call on their members and their senators to fight this. And our elected officials are listening. Many of them are here with us right now. We're about to hear from many of them who are using their unique power to defend the people from this hostile takeover. And we're going to start with a good friend of ours, Representative.
All right, so folks was out here. A lot of people spoke, but obviously this is not a riot, right? This is not a riot, but this is a good place to start.
1774.
Yeah, but things are not looking good inside of the U.S. right now, and the people that are standing up, I see it, and that's great because it's like folks' lives are literally on the line. So kudos to people that are standing up for their rights, and it's not looking good. However, I had a more pessimistic outlook because when I didn't see people standing up like this, when you don't see this kind of stuff going on, you are going to feel pessimistic and feel like things are going to get worse. But because that's my feeling. My feeling is if people don't stand up against this, I mean, all Americans, if enough Americans stand up against this guy can be put where he needs to be put, Trump and Elon Musk. But Americans have to stand up for themselves right now and say, do they want this or not? Do they have a common enemy here or not? And go from there. Yeah, that's my view on it. Let me see here. Can I actually? Oh, right, this is here. Let me just open this up. Yeah, that's my view on it, folks. And I will catch up with folks later. I appreciate everybody for coming out, and appreciate you, Donnie, as usual. Yeah, her sign is wild. Yeah, that sign was wild. Exactly. You know, yeah, but this situation, Donnie, it's all over the place, and I feel for you, bro. Hop up sometime when if you feel motivated to, and let me know how things are going down there in your neck of the woods. But Americans got to get ready, and Americans got to look after their own best interests right now. And so my suggestion is, no matter who you voted for, you best recognize the threat right now, and the threat is Trump and Elon Musk. And if you do not, and anybody that has done dirty deeds for them, um, people have to recognize that you just let these billionaires walk all up in there, and billionaires connected with other countries walk right up into your government and do whatever they want to do, like it has never been done before, following no norms. And now it's you that are the prey. So either you're going to stand up against it, or you're going to, I don't know, be caught up in it forever. So in any case, I'm out, man. I appreciate it. Everybody be cool. And I hope you have a good week. I'll be back. Bless.
Make it